I love you, Daddy.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Single Father Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Donaker, aka Father DZ, always here to make things easy. Before we start, I want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support in bringing the show back. You know, it hasn't always been easy for me these last couple months, year or so, dealing with things that, I guess were a little harder for me than it was when I originally started the podcast. When I originally started, I wanted this to be a, kind of an open dialogue, like a journal for me, if you will. And in some ways it still is. But I think through a lot of time away, I've come to understand that, it's more than just a journal. It's a community. It's something that I'm sharing in with the rest of the people out there who can share in experiences between mental health, relationships, parenthood, or just being a father. I appreciate all the love out there. And if you notice, last week we didn't have an episode, and that is because I've been writing a book. Can you believe it? I've been writing a book. And by the time this episode comes out, it may be available. But I think the time that I'll actually put it in the description might be next week's episode. I know that let me tell you, it's a hard, long process writing a book. I was just getting the details and bits and pieces together, and wada bing, wada boom, I had to take the rest of the week off to finish it out. So we're back to weekly episodes, and I think every episode will either drop on Saturday or Sunday. I'm shooting for Saturday. So I'll tighten that up as things go, guys. So just, hey, bear with me. But, speaking of being away, one of the things that I really was on the search for when I was away from the podcast was, what's my purpose in life here? What is this all detail? The struggle, the pain, the happiness, the joy. What does it all mean? And I guess the penultimate question is, why are we here? So in this episode, we're continuing with the series that we have, which is, why are we here? And today we're diving into a topic that, well, it's both challenging and incredibly rewarding, and it's embracing growth, evolving through parenthood.
Hello.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. AA is down the hall to the right?
I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the AA meeting. That's not why I'm here. She just went to sleep, but she's been like crying for hours. I mean hours, to the point where I'm exhausted and my face hurts and I'm getting frustrated and I don't know how to break the stroller down. I don't know how to fold it up.
Okay, well, sorry, but this is a group for new mothers.
You're lying. Because on that sign out there it says parents. I'm a parent and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I need help. I need the crying to stop.
How many of us have felt that before? Let me speak to the fathers of the room real quick. I think we all have been in a position where we just needed some help, and no one seemed to really understand that, hey, we're good parents. We just don't know how to do a lot of the stuff that mothers usually got in the bag. We need help. No one teaches us these things. They always teach mothers about what to do. So many classes and roles they take, but if we're just being honest, dads, it gets a little challenging. I know it does for me. Where you just want some help, And then instead of, people being proud of the effort that you put into, show that you're a good parent. I think everyone who's a dad here can understand. You go out and about just alone with you and your kid, and how many times have we heard, "Where's mom? Oh, is mom around? I bet, look who's becoming babysitter today. Oh, where's mother? Oh, where's mommy?" I'm like, can I not just be with my daughter out and about without a woman attached to my hip? Seriously, like, am I not allowed to be a parent alone? Or do single fathers not exist to some people? You know, it's ridiculous a little bit where we feel kind of invalidated that way. No one means to be hurtful, but it is kind of a put down. I'm not a babysitter, I'm her dad. You know what I mean? See, parenthood, especially being a single father, it's more than just a role. It's a journey of transformation. Each day, each moment with our child or children presents an opportunity for personal growth. And today, we're going to explore what that means to truly embrace this growth, how it shapes us, and why it's essential to not just for our well-being, but for the well-being of our children. Now, I want to talk about like the challenge of change. Change, I will tell you, is not easy. Not easy at all. When I'm in a new relationship, one of the things that comes up tremendously is the change of dating someone without a kid to with a kid. I hear that. The hesitation in someone's voice when they're like, "Oh, that's great. I love kids." Or it's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm not really trying to be a mother." Or, "Oh, okay, cool." You hear it, you know? The silent disappointment that you have a kid and it's not theirs. We get it. Trust me, I get it. And then there's the parents out there who are hypocritical. And I'm not saying being hypocritical is a good or a bad thing, but some single parents don't want to date someone else with a parent, and some do, and some don't. It's a challenge, but it's also a change. And change is not easy. It's often fraught with fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. But as single fathers, we face these challenges head on. Whether it's adapting new routines, new relationships, or overcoming personal struggles, or reshaping our lives to fit our new reality. Change is constant. It's constant. I remember the early days of being a single dad. Oh my God, was I scared. I was scared. There was uncertainty, discomfort. Everything was overwhelming. From managing my daughter's schedules to handling my own emotional turmoil. But it was in this chaos that I found my strength. Learning to accept and adapt, to change, taught me resilience. It taught me about the core of who I am. I remember another time, being a single parent, you hear it all, right? I was at a restaurant, and back in the day, I would call myself a little bit of a playboy. So I'm at this restaurant with me and my daughter. I think she's maybe like 2, had a high chair. And I had this beautiful, beautiful waitress. Normally, I'd flirt with the waitress and hopefully get the opportunity to take her on a date. And I decided to do just that, like any other day. My daughter didn't understand what I was saying. So the waitress comes over, calls my daughter beautiful. Of course she is. And then I said something like, you know what else is beautiful? Staring right at, you know? And as I eat my meal with my daughter, cleaning up every mess, making sure everything was perfect and pristine, making it seem like I'm not a struggling single parent, I grabbed my daughter, put her in my arms, thinking what a beautiful scene, right? This man who's a man's man, he stands up and he takes care of his responsibilities. She's going to love it. So I say, hey, hello, ma'am. By the way, I was wondering, and then boom, my daughter throws up all over me. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. She throws up all over me. Oh, I was pissed. The girl looked at me, the waitress, with pity, disgust, and a hint of laughter. Oh, and I was pissed. Needless to say, I didn't get her number that day. But I went home that night thinking, wow, what a change. I have to deal with someone else being attached to my hip for the rest of my life and having to try to adapt to that. But I didn't think of it as a burden. I thought of it as a challenge to overcome. The next time I went to a restaurant, I was even more prepared. I had a little bag with me, and I had some snacks. You know, I thought things were going perfect at this restaurant outing. Nothing's going to happen. As I was getting ready to leave, I thought, what a successful night out with my daughter. Boom, she throws a fit and throws a plate on the floor. Cracked plates everywhere, people looking around and seeing me, not being able to contain my own daughter, who I thought I had a perfect evening with. As she threw plates on the ground, people are staring at me. And I was mad. And I went home and I thought, wow, what a change. For the rest of my life, I have to think about what this woman's going to do when I go out to a restaurant, where her hands are, and does she eat too much, and the things that make her throw up. What a change. But I didn't think of it as a burden. I thought of it as a challenge to overcome. The next time I went to a restaurant, I had my high chair. I had my bag. I had her hands far from reach of plates. And just to make sure, I had her hands far from reach from any forks or knives as well. I brought a sippy cup, baggie, I changed a diaper. I had a full bag with me. I embraced the full-on dad. We had our meal, and as we got up, do you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. When I got up, nothing happened. I couldn't believe it. And as I'm walking out of the restaurant, I'm thinking to myself, there has to be something. Before I walk out of this restaurant's doors, there has to be something that goes wrong. She's going to do something. She's going to say something. She's going to do something that will make this evening in chaos for me. But there was nothing. I was prepared. I accepted the challenge, passed. I passed, and I was so incredibly grateful. It's said that our children are our greatest teachers, and nothing could be more accurate. Through their eyes, we see the world just as it is, a new, a beautiful, curious place. And their curiosity, their resilience, and unconditional love reminds us of the essential things we can often overlook. The calm. There's calm within the storm. And each storm that we make our way out of, we grow a little bit more and we adapt. And we're more prepared for the next time that storm comes our way. We grow. And through the years, each restaurant I've gone to, each chaotic moment that my daughter has caused out and about, or caused me, trust me, she's 5 years old now, her little personality evolving throughout the whole entire house, the slammed doors, the crying about food that she doesn't like, or the cookies that she made me make but doesn't want anymore, the hyper nights that she stays up while I am trying to sleep, the early mornings where she jumps on the bed and wants me to make her breakfast, the chocolate milk on the floor, the nail polish on my couch. But each storm that I've gotten myself into, or she kind of pushed me into, I've been able to navigate my way through it. There's calm within the storm, and once you find that, you can find your way out. Then you grow a little more right before the next one. One afternoon, I was trying to explain to my daughter why plans had to change unexpectedly. She didn't understand what it meant to change plans when things come up. All she knew is that if I tell her something, it's bond. She doesn't understand what it means to have things just kind of pop up in your life that take you by surprise. So when I'm trying to explain to her, she said, "It's okay, Daddy. We can find something fun to do today anyway." In her adaptability, I saw a lesson for myself. She taught me that it's not the circumstances that define us, but our response to them that really show who we are. Not only as parents, but as people, as individuals. How we respond to certain things, that's really what shapes us. The power of vulnerability. And embracing growth means embracing vulnerability. Embracing the fact that I have throw up all over myself from my daughter and I'm not able to flirt with this girl, but hey, I'm a parent, whatever. I got a change of clothes in the car. And even if I don't, whatever, it's a story to tell later that will probably be funny to me. Maybe down the line a little bit, but funny nonetheless. It means admitting when we're scared and when we're unsure and when we need help. Just like in the beginning of this episode, sometimes we have to admit that I need help. I need help. And it's funny listening to that man walk into a support group by mothers and say, "Look, you said this is a parents group, not a mom's group. We're all in this together." It reminds me of the time when I was a single parent first starting out. Every mother out there has resources to help them through this journey, but nothing seemed to really acknowledge single fathers whatsoever. And I looked, and someone told me one time, "Hey, did you know that you could go to WIC?" And I said, "WIC? Do you mean Women's, Infants, and Children? That resource? The resource that clearly says women in the title? WIC, the W standing for women? What do you mean?" And she's like, think of that W going, think of that W going both ways. Turn it upside down and it's also men as well. You can definitely seek help there, and they will not turn you away. Whether you're a male, female, as long as you have a child that you love, they will help you. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe my ears. Are you serious? So I went there. I walk in the lobby full of mothers. I think they were surprised I was there, truthfully. I was empowered, and I felt happy that the same backpacks and water bottles and strollers that they had, I had as well for my daughter. Made me feel like I was doing something right, something that I admire all single mothers in this country doing every single day. But I was scared, and I went there saying, look, I need help. I don't know what most of this means, and I need someone to teach me. It's about showing our children the strength isn't about having all the answers. It's about being honest, about striving. It's about being real. I've had moments of doubt, moments when I questioned if I could really be the father my daughter deserved. But by being open about these feelings, by discussing them, even with her, I've learned that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a doorway to deeper connections. And we evolve through all of these reflections that we have. Reflection is really a powerful tool for growth. It allows us to pause, look back, and see not just where we've come from, but also where we're going. And each night, I take a moment to reflect on the day. What did I learn? How did I handle challenges? How can I be better tomorrow? And I want to repeat that because I literally, every night before bed, I take a moment to reflect. I write down on this journal that I have, and I reflect. What did I learn? How did I handle challenges? How can I be better? I'm going to say it one more time. What did I learn? How did I handle challenges? And how can I be better? As I said those three things, those three mantras or phrases, I don't think those things even really had a specific tie to being a parent, does it? I think that can be used for anything within ourselves, within our lives, our personalities, our behaviors. I just so happen to use it for my own personal growth from being a parent. There's things each day that I learn from my daughter. I learn patience. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord Almighty, do I learn patience. I learn how to be patient. I learn how to take patience. And what I mean by that is sometimes we need to take patience. When we feel like we're getting overwhelmed and we're about to snap, I'm going to take some patience. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. Dead in my tracks, I will stop. I will close my eyes, and I will take some patience. Whether I'm cooking, whether I'm taking a walk, even whether I'm driving, sometimes I'll even pull over. I'll close my eyes, and I'll take patience. And with a deep breath, I can move forward. And then I wonder to myself, how did I handle challenges? How did I handle the times where I felt overwhelmed? Did I take patience? Or did I give in to the snap? Did I go off? Did I raise my voice? Did I pull my hair out? Did I go to my room and lock my door? Did I lay down an unnecessary punishment for my daughter, telling her no iPad just because I'm the one that had the bad day? How did I handle these challenges? Some nights I go to bed knowing that I did a great job. And sometimes I go to bed and I think, I really could have handled that a different way. And sometimes I go to bed thinking, I failed today. Yeah, I'll even admit that. Like, today I failed. But then I think about my next mantra. How can I be better? How can I be better tomorrow? And that's really important. Because as we evolve through this reflection, I think, how can I be better tomorrow? Sometimes I'm navigating between a relationship that I have where I'm on the phone a lot and I'm engaging in conversations with a girlfriend, and that maybe I lacked on making mac and cheese on time, or forgot that it was bath time, or read a book time. Something that I felt like I did, I write down is remember, how can I be better? How can I be better tomorrow? Maybe I'll set a schedule, set some timers. You know? Maybe I'll talk about the feelings instead of showing. Maybe I'll pre-make the food the next day or the night before so I'm not so stressed the day of. I'll talk about these things. Whether it's writing them down or reflections in my head, I will ask myself, how can I be better? This practice has not only helped me evolve as a person, but as a father. It has shown me that growth is not a destination, but a continuous journey. And on this journey, the challenges we face aren't just obstacles, they're opportunities. You know, it's funny. I was speaking to someone who is 18, and they were telling me about their challenges right now. They're in college and they're struggling. And they're talking to me about their struggles with money and rent and things like that. And I looked at them and I almost felt a sense of envy. Like, you have no idea what it's like to struggle. You're 18. How I thought between 18 years old and now 29 is extremely different. Extremely different. I'm faced with far more challenges, far more struggles, far more stress. In college, the only thing I ever stressed about was, well, making in time to get breakfast at the cafeteria. And now I struggle with making it to work on time because my daughter spilled coffee all over my clothes in the morning. Angry that I was doing her hair. But I envy that person I spoke to. I envied them because life is full of trials, tribulations. It's a journey. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it's rolling steady. But it nonetheless is a journey. And I thought about the journey that I've taken with my own daughter. A young man, frantic, not knowing what it's like to be a single parent. Now, almost 6 years later, still uncertain about some things, but embracing the life that I have, embracing all things, embracing the uncertainties, embracing the unknowns. Every day is a mystery, but it's an opportunity to overcome my struggles, to take a journey with my daughter into a world of possibilities. I've grown so much. An angry kid with divorced parents who just wanted to be liked, to a freshly young man who was about to become a new father, delving down a relationship that he knew was doomed to end, to an older young man who was forced to be a single father and find out what it means to handle some obstacles alone. And now, to a man who embraces every day and is ready to face opportunities ahead. A man who searches for the right things to do, even if it doesn't benefit himself. A man who puts his daughter first. A man who puts God first. A man who handles challenges differently. A man who makes mistakes, that's for sure. But a man who reflects on how I can change them the next day. As we wrap up today's episode, remember, embracing growth in parenthood and in life is about seeing each challenge, each joy, each setback as a stepping stone on a path of life. It's about growing alongside our children, learning as much from them as they learn from us. I want you to grow with me. I want you to take this with you. In the journey of fatherhood, each challenge, each laugh, each tear is a brushstroke of a masterpiece of our lives. Keep embracing the growth. One lesson, one change, and one loving moment at a time. This path we're on, it shapes us, it molds us, and most importantly, it teaches us. And each and every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming the fathers we aspire to be. Thank you for spending time with me on today's episode of the Single Father Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Let's keep building this community, one story, one father, one heart at a time. Follow us on social media to get updates and join the conversation. And trust me, it only gets better. Until next time, remember, you're not just raising a child, you're raising yourself too. And every day is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Keep embracing the journey. Until next time, take care. Keep learning. And keep evolving. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you guys for joining me on today's episode. I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to do something pretty cool. It's a segment that I'm adding in called Conversations with AI. Now, this conversation won't happen all the time on every episode, but I feel like it might be a little addition. So I'm going to have AI interview me, and maybe we'll see what questions she has to ask. Ready?
What motivated you to start the Single Father podcast?
I think what motivated me is just seeing how unrepresented single fathers are. It started out as a podcast about mental health, honestly. And in a lot of ways it still is, but topics are kind of a variety of different things. Next week I'll discuss relationships. And sometimes we even talk about sex, depression, anxiety. Just really depends on how I feel. I like to stay on topic about fatherhood, but sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes I gotta get some things off my own chest that has nothing to do with my daughter.
It sounds like you're really tapping into a wide range of topics that affect single fathers beyond just parenting. How do you choose what topic to talk about each week?
That's kind of hard. I like to keep episodes pretty structured, a clear point and a reasoning behind them. But honestly, it just depends on how I feel. Like today's episode. I felt like the series that we're in right now, Why Are We Here? I discuss growth. I believe a true point on why we're here on this earth is to grow. But that's just how I feel when I came up with the idea. Next week, we're going to discuss love, and I don't know, just depends.
It's interesting how your personal experiences and feelings guide the show's content. How do you think your listeners relate to this approach? Does it help them connect more deeply with the topics you discuss?
I think I think everyone wants to feel related to. I know that when I was a newly single father, and sometimes even now, it's hard to find someone who will relate to you. I know that when I'm in a relationship, especially with someone who doesn't have a kid, it can create some, barriers in how you relate to each other. And I guess one of the things that I've always found people have success on is creating content that helps each other, really. I hope whether it's single fathers, parents, or even people who just relate to topics regarding mental health and love, you can relate to it in some way. It may be called the Single Father Podcast, but it's really a podcast for everyone who just likes a good story.
That's a really inclusive approach. Given the universal themes you're discussing, what has been the most surprising feedback or response you've received from your listeners?
I think probably just what I said. That even though the podcast is somewhat tailored toward single fathers, that the topics I discuss are mixed with really inclusive themes. So whether you're a single parent, whether you're, um, a single father, or whether you're just someone who enjoys listening about someone's personal journal, mental health and love and relationships and etc. It's really inclusive. And I think we can all just agree that we just want to be understood. We want someone to understand us. I think that's the good feedback that I got back, that someone felt understood.
It must be rewarding to hear that your podcast resonates with such a broad audience. As you continue to grow your platform, what are some of the challenges you've faced in keeping the content fresh and engaging?
Well, honestly, I'm never short stories of mental health, parental challenges, and complex relationships. So, honestly, as long as people listen, I'll speak.
I think your podcast does an excellent job of addressing deep and varied topics that not only single fathers, but a wide range of listeners can find meaningful and supportive. Thank you for letting me be a guest on today's episode. Now, I'm curious about the new series, Why Are We Here? What does that topic mean to you personally, and why did you choose it for the series?
Um, I chose it because a while ago I stopped doing the podcast, and that was due to a variety of different issues, but one of those issues was I just didn't know what my purpose on this earth was anymore. And I don't mean that morbidly, as in like suicidal or anything. I just mean in a literal sense. Why am I here? I wanted to explore that and kind of share my thoughts on each topic week by week with people who like listening to the show. I thought these questions kind of like deserved an audience. And as the weeks progress, we'll get deeper and deeper. These couple episodes have been really structured in the way that I want it to be tailored towards parents and like parenting. But as the weeks go on, we're going to get deeper into like personal, and I might even have a guest or two on, or I might finish out the series alone. I'm really not sure. But regardless, I love the question. And even though I'm not expecting to have the overall answer at the end, I hope to have a list of all answers I can hold with me as I grow. And that's kind of the point of today's episode. Growth. I believe that we're here to grow. I believe that we're here to learn and share from my experiences and see how we can move forward. But I think that also takes some growth. And it also takes the question, why are we here?
That's a profoundly introspective approach, and it really speaks to the emotional depth of your podcast. Exploring such a universal question with your audience not only opens up a dialogue, but also helps everyone, including yourself, reflect on their own experiences and purposes. It's a powerful way to connect and evolve together. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you again for having me on, Kendall. I hope to join you again sometime. Goodbye, and I truly hope you find the answers you're seeking, answers that resonate with why you are here.
Well, guys, that's it. That's my segment I like to call Conversations with AI. Let me know what you thought. It's my little beta thing that I'm trying out. We'll see if you guys like it. In any case, once again, I'm going to sign off with this. Keep growing. Keep asking questions. And keep discovering. Wondering about yourself. Wondering about how you can do better. How you can make a change. And how you can grow. In the meantime, when you go to sleep tonight, I want you to wonder, what did I learn? How did I handle challenges? And how can I be better tomorrow? But I also want you to learn. I also want you to ask yourself one last thing. Why are we here? Until next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.